People stop speaking up, delivery feels like a burden, then management starts to push for that one more heroic sprint. That's when the team just quietly checks out, and that's burnout. What really bugs me is how often it sneaks into teams that are supposedly agile, people-focused, feedback-driven, built for change. So how does that happen? Here's my take. It's not exhaustive, but it is field-tested. Burnout starts when boundaries disappear. Agile teams are supposed to work at a sustainable pace. That's straight out of the Scrum Guide. But when priorities shift constantly, or the team is always on and dealing with Slack pings, last-minute requests, shifting expectations, that sustainable pace collapses. What's the worst part about that? Interruptions don't feel like a big deal at first until they pile up. When flow breaks down, people get stuck in the start-stop chaos and delivery becomes exhausting instead of energizing. Then there's the lack of recognition or a functioning feedback loop. Teams may be shipping stories and closing tickets, but if no one is reflecting back about how that work created value, it starts to feel meaningless. David Pink's Drive talks about the 3 pillars of motivation: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. If you remove purpose, no one sees the impact of their work. It becomes hard to stay engaged no matter how skilled or autonomous you are. Another contributor, role confusion. When team members aren't clear about who owns decisions, deliverables, or customer conversations, people begin to work harder just to stay afloat. This is particularly dangerous in hybrid setups or Scrum but environments where teams follow rituals but ignore the underlying principles. If your sprint review is just a demo and not a place to inspect and adapt, you've lost one of the key places to adjust course, and burnout creeps in under the radar. Now let's talk about those silent assumptions. These are the unspoken assumptions that live under the surface. Who should speak in meetings? How stretching capacity becomes a norm? Or what done really means? These assumptions pile up. They lead to friction, resentment, and a growing sense that the team is being set up to fail. And yet they're rarely challenged because challenging them feels risky. So what do we do? What's helped me in the past? First, keep that feedback loop open and keep checking that it's still working. Is the team getting recognition? Are they getting usable input from stakeholders, not just looks good at the end of the sprint? The book Accelerate shows how fast feedback loops are essential to high-performing teams. Without them, teams drift. Second, model accountability. This starts with owning your own part, whether you're a coach or a scrum master or a team lead. If you miss something, say it. If you see a risk, raise it early. That vulnerability builds trust, and trust is the foundation of any psychologically safe team. Third, protect flow. If you're constantly switching tasks, getting interrupted, or adding mid-sprint changes, burnout is inevitable. Tools like work in progress limits or Monte Carlo forecasting can help you visualize the cost of interruptions and protects the team's delivery rhythm. Finally, define your contract. By that, I mean make your working agreements explicit. What are the team's expectations? What's non-negotiable? What communication norms are we assuming that need to be said out loud? This helps challenge those silent assumptions before they create silent frustrations. In one team I coached, these 4 principles helped us pull back from the brink just before we lost a brilliant dev lead. And we built in recognition during stand-ups. We reviewed our working agreement line by line. We gave permission to say no when something threatened flow. It wasn't a silver bullet, but it reset the tone. So that's what worked for me. I want to hear from you as well. Have you seen teams quietly burned out, even in agile setups? How have you managed to bring one back? Are there any early warning signs you should look out for? Or any hard lessons that you wish you saw earlier? Drop a comment below. Maybe someone here needs to see that insight. If you found this helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more reality agile checks. See you for now.